All right, this has got to be one of the most wicked disinformation campaigns that MAGA has launched in a while. Have you all heard of the MAGA Arizona T-shirt hoax? No, not T-shirt. Teacher hoax. But it's also a T-shirt hoax because they are lying about the T-shirts that these Arizona teachers are wearing. This is probably the worst disinformation campaign since maybe the eating cats and dogs thing from the campaign. But there is this massive Twitter storm. The MAGA supporters have essentially gotten themselves riled up. It's like a dog chasing their own tail over and over, and it's nothing. It started off with Andrew Colvett, which you may remember as the guy who I confronted on stage just 2 weeks back. I didn't even mean to confront him. It turned into that because he wouldn't condemn the Nazi group chat for one reason or another. He decided to post this tweet that now has 8 million views, and I think this is what kicked everything off. Andrew said, "Concerned parents just sent us this image of what's believed to be teachers at Vale schools in Tucson, Arizona, mocking Charlie's murder with costumes that read, 'Problem solved,' and blood down the left side of their shirts. They deserve to be famous and fired." Now, first of all, how bold would that be for a group of teachers to just wear these t-shirts? That would be absolutely absurd. Secondly, it's false. It is a lie. These are math teachers. These are math t-shirts, and it's a joke. It's a math meme. Problem solved, and I'll prove it all in just 1 second. But it continues to get worse. Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, decides to boost this. It's been really disturbing to see teachers across the country glorifying a murder just because they disagreed with the victim. That pulled in 1 million views right away. And then Arizona State Senator Jake Hoffman decides to jump in and really stir everything up. You can see how they stir themselves up right here, and it gets wild. This part is a little bit funny, though. He says, "Bloodthirsty teachers celebrate Charlie Kirk assassination on campus. The Vale School superintendent and board members, are protecting them. These people are psychopaths. They don't belong anywhere near children. Fire every single one of them immediately." Just jumps to the most extreme. Basically, call for violence, ask questions later. This gets almost 1 million views. And then, early this morning, the same guy responds and says, "Update, the school district has produced photos of the teachers wearing the same costume last year, which potentially removes the direct link to Charlie's assassination." The math joke isn't a joke at all. It's a double entendre. One meaning is math related, and the other meaning is that an acceptable answer to a problem is murdering another human. What a stretch. Have you never heard of a Halloween costume? If I walk around in a skeleton Halloween costume, to Republicans are like, it's actually a double meaning. Not only is he a popular skeleton from pop culture, but he's also talking about death. He's saying that people should die. No, what are you talking about here? He says it's wildly inappropriate and shows crisis-level poor judgment for anyone to wear t-shirts on a school campus. Let me show you the problem with digital media, and this is what I always dig into on this show. Jake Hoffman's original post from 22 hours ago has almost 1 million views. Andrew Colvett's post has 8.1 million views. But the correction from Jake Hoffman, the Arizona state senator, doesn't even have 3,000 views. It has 21 likes. You see the problem that we're facing. The disinformation blows up, goes viral. The corrections don't. An Arizona meme account said, "These math teachers made a miscalculation. Try to solve this new problem." So this was even after we knew that these were math teachers. He posted the full names, phone numbers, everything of the math teachers, connecting them to who they are. Now, I put these black bars over because I want to obviously cover up the names of these people, all the names, but they're trying to dox them. They're trying to dox and cause violence. An Arizona representative named Rachel Keschel said publicly on Twitter, "I want to see the evidence that these high school math department wore the same shirts last year. Post the picture, I'll wait." And then you see, if you back up, hey, it turns out those teachers did wear the same t-shirts. I keep almost saying t-shirt, teacher. I keep almost switching them. So, as I said, this has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk's murder. All of TPUSA, Riley Gaines, Benny Johnson, Mike Lee, Ron DeSantis, people on Fox News, all the other rage farm grifters misled their followers, and now those teachers are getting doxxed and harassed for no reason. See, on the Adam Mockler show, we actually present the truth. We show you the truth, like the 2024 photos from exactly a year ago, exactly a year before, the Halloween before, of them wearing the same t-shirts. Maybe they're time travelers and they wore this because they knew that Charlie Kirk was going to get shot. No, it's obvious what's happening here, and we always stick up for the truth on this channel. That's why you should drop a like and subscribe. For example, in the days following Charlie Kirk's killing, a lot of people online were speculating that the shooter was a far-right groyper. Now, the evidence hadn't really come out, and I said on this channel, guys, wait for the evidence, and as the evidence came out, we found out he was not far-right. He was not a groyper. The evidence was always paper thin. So on this channel, we always take a factual stance. We wait for the facts to come out. Remember, these t-shirts have been sold in multiple places. This is a post from 2024, and it says, "Problem solved, Halloween shirt." Problem solved. It's a meme. It's a double entendre. I mean, sure, you can say it's corny, but that's different than trying to dox and call violence for these people. Now, Micah says, yesterday, a right-wing mob tried to ruin teachers' lives over their Halloween costumes, claiming they were celebrating Charlie's death. In reality, it was a math pun costume the teachers also wore last year. They never cared about the truth, and they never will. Riley Gaines was saying, "Don't you see? They view you as a problem and they want you dead." This got 1 million views. The retraction, if there is one from Riley Gaines, won't even get a fraction of that many views. They are trying to stir up violence. It reminds me a lot of the eating cats and dogs thing during the campaign. During that, they made up a bunch of lies, a bunch of hysterics, and then JD Vance said sometimes you gotta make up stories. But here's where it gets crazier, because a lot of the Republicans decide to double down and muddy the waters even more. So let's get on to the posts from today. Most of the posts I just showed you were from, the day after Halloween, November 1st. But today, the Republicans, now that we know the truth, and it's just factual, they are trying to run defense. Jack Posobiec says, "Regardless of circumstance, this is not an appropriate shirt for teachers to be wearing at school." Really? Says, Ron DeSantis decides to issue another statement. Here is the explanation from the school district regarding the bloody shirts. Some have cast doubt on this explanation, but people can read it and decide for themselves. So Ron DeSantis has to then issue a retraction. Let's read what the Vail School District said. Quote, "We understand that a recent social media post showing members of our math department wearing shirts that say 'problem solved' has caused some confusion and concern. The shirts were worn in reference to solving math problems. Any reference that these shirts were related to something other than that are simply false and untrue. The staff wearing them care deeply about children. Most of them live in our community and have served families in Vail for many years. These shirts were worn both this year and last year as a part of a math-themed Halloween costume and were not intended as a reference to any person, event, or political issue. We apologize that wearing these shirts caused concern or upsetting to some. That absolutely was not the intent of those who wore them. We are sorry, and the shirts will not be worn again. This is a hard lesson for all of us, that more thought and care need to be taken in these times. That is why you don't jump to conclusions based off random photos." Ruben Gallego says, "Come on, Mike," regarding Mike Lee. "Come on, Mike. You are putting these teachers in danger. This is clearly not malicious. They were it last year. They are not going to know about every politician in Arizona. More conservatives double down. Dean Cain, used to be Superman, said, 'Still a terrible idea this year. They had to have known.' The same Arizona representative that got fact-checked said, 'My daughter graduated from Cienega last year, the high school, and doesn't remember the math teachers wearing these shirts.' Mike Lee said one of the most famous men in Arizona was recently gunned down wearing a shirt that became soaked with blood, is reminiscent of the ghastly shirts they wore. Their, quote, 'We wore these last year too' defense, even if it is true, doesn't help them much. I think it helps them a lot. It basically solves the problem. No pun intended. I'll leave it there. Love you all. Peace out. Subscribe."